What is good, everybody? Welcome to a very special breaking news live stream here on the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Hallelujah. Nick Bosa's contract holdout is officially over. Not a day too soon. We got news from multiple insiders. This tweet I'm throwing up on the screen now comes from Adam Schefter. 5 years, $170 million, including $122.5 million guaranteed. He is now the highest paid defensive player in the history of the National Football League. And that sound you just heard is the collective 49ers fan base going, because let's be honest, we were worried. I was worried. I definitely had my doubts. I didn't think he was playing. Not only did I not think he was playing, I didn't know if he was going to play week 2, week 3. That's the scary part. Now we don't have to worry about that. Now we know Nick Bosa is officially in the fold. I know Kyle Shanahan is speaking right now, so I don't know if he has commented yet on Bosa playing against the Steelers on Sunday and, how, if he's going to play, is he on a snap count, that kind of thing. I have no idea. If someone sees it, please put it in the chat for me so I can tell, because I'm trying to keep an eye on everything here, but it's a little difficult. But that's the news of the day. Nick Bosa is here, and I know some people are going to, wring their hands and worry about the salary cap and the implications and what happens next year, and that's fine. But right now, let's just take a deep breath. Let's just enjoy, right? Let's just celebrate the fact that the reigning defensive player of the year is back. He's going to be here. That chapter is over. We don't have to worry about that anymore. And that's great. That is absolutely great. Carlo watching says quarterback money, lucky Purdy makes pennies. Yeah, who cares that it's quarterback money? That's okay. Good players cost money, all right? Don't fret about that stuff. Don't worry. I'm sweating over here. I'm literally running around my house when I got this news. Jedi says locked and loaded, DEFCON 1 for the NFL. Absolutely. Andre says about time Parag caved. What was the damn holdup? Look, I don't care who, like, winning and losing. Did the 49ers win the deal? Did Parag Marathe win the deal? We won the deal. That's who won, okay? We won the deal. What the hell's going on with my headset here? Sorry, let me fix this really quick. That's annoying. It's the worst part of the day right there. What the hell? Struggle bus. All right, like the 49ers trying to get Nick Bosa signed. We won the deal, as I was saying. We got him. He's in the fold. Now, I will say this. Let's wait to see the actual details. Let's, a lot of times these things get reported to make the agents look really, really good. We got to wait and see. I tend to wait for the Mike Florio breakdown. But I'm not going to worry about what it is. He's one of the guys you keep, okay? He's one of the guys you don't throw away. A fullback, a tight end, those are guys that if you have to live with letting them go, you do, all right? Nick Bosa's not that. He's the reigning defensive player of the year. He may win another defensive player of the year. Who knows? You don't throw him away. You don't. And, look, I know there's a chance he could get injured and all that stuff. There's a chance everybody could get injured. All right. That's the game we play. So let's just rejoice. Just today's a happy day. Okay. I don't know how the season's going to go. You don't know how the season's going to go. Let's just rejoice and be happy that he's in the fold, that we don't have to face the Steelers week 1 without him. Right. That pass rush, that defensive line, it's going to be there. Now, how much he's going to play again, we don't know. And again, if somebody sees what Kyle says, let me know. But it's a good day. I feel it's a great day. One less thing. There were not good vibes with the 49ers to start the season, right? They had the quarterback stuff with Trey Lance. They had just this Bosa stuff. Like, there was not great vibes with the team, with the organization. we're one step away from that now. They got the quarterback thing settled. They got the Nick Bosa thing settled. It's like we can focus on the main thing. What did Pat Riley say? The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. And the 49ers, luckily, are going to do it. Nick Bosa, 5 years, $170 million, $122.5 million, fully guaranteed. Now, I should say it is guaranteed, yes. Is some of that including guaranteed for injury? Is it fully guaranteed at signing? We don't know. Those things tend to come out a couple days later. I'm trying to read some of the reaction on Twitter. Levin says his prediction was still too low prior to his Defensive Player of the Year season. Levin had said 5 years, 145 mil. He upped it to this, ended up being 5,170. Yeah, 5,170 is a lot, but let's read some of the comments here. Steven says, if Bosa isn't breaking the game in the playoffs and getting at least 2 Super Bowls, how do you live with up to $35 million a year? Like, people, stop clutching the pearls, okay? Stop it. He's a great, great player. Stop acting like regular season performance doesn't count, and stop acting like Nick Bosa is not great in the postseason. He is. He has more sacks than he has postseason games played. He has more postseason sacks than postseason games played. Like, let's stop acting like he's not good in the playoffs. He is. He absolutely is. And let's not act like he hasn't taken over games in both the regular season and the playoffs, because he did. He had 12 pressures in the Super Bowl, 12, and a sack and a forced fumble as a rookie. He's great in the playoffs. He's great. This is the guy that you don't worry about paying. It's him. Hard worker. Yes, he had the ACL injury, and I know that stinks, but a lot of guys have had an ACL injury and stayed healthy otherwise. And other than the ACL year, Nick Bosa has only missed one game with the 49ers ever. So he's healthy, he's a hard worker, and he plays at a premium level, at a premium position. Don't forget, quarterback, cornerback, pass rusher. Those are the 3 big spots you have to have, I think, to compete for a Super Bowl. And Niners have Bosa secured now for at least 3 years. You know, some people say every NFL contract is a 3-year contract. Well, here's Bosa in the fold. 5 years. Now it's 3 years. 2090 says, shut up. You were crying, Rob. Yeah, sorry. I was upset that the best defensive player we have wasn't under contract 4 days before the game. Sorry. Yes, I was upset. Okay. Like, let's stop acting like we all knew this was going to happen. It got very, very close to not happening, as the 49ers usually do with their contract discussions. It should have been done before now. Yes, it should have. Everyone agrees. Even the marshmallowy soft 49ers press corps agreed that it should have been done by now. But it is. So let's be happy. Let's not fight today. We don't want to fight. We want to be happy, right? Let's talk about how we're going to roll the Steelers in Pittsburgh, hopefully. Can we talk about that? Man, cranky people. Thank you, Jeffrey. I was crying too. Yeah, of course. Come on, man. This shouldn't have taken this long. It's done now, and that's ultimately the only thing that matters. You know, it's funny. I spent a lot of the day with Grant, just a couple hours ago, honestly, talking about how the 49ers on the field, I think, have made up for a lot of missteps off the field. They're just so damn good when they actually play football that some of the stuff that they've done off the field that I think have been mistakes, they've been able to overcome it. Should this deal have been done before now? Yes, 1,000%, but it's done. Now they can play on the field and they can overcome that, right? This kind of fits right in with sort of the 49ers strategy that they have been incorporating here all along. It's done. It's the absolute correct move. I'm looking at a tweet from Vish right now. He says, finally, let's see if I can throw it up on the screen. How about that, Rob? Instead of just reading it, why don't you put it up there for people that can see? Vish says, finally, absolutely the correct move by the Niners. Not the most ideal timing, but getting it done before week 1 is a win. I'm very interested to see the actual details. Wonder who won on the deal structure. Also wonder if Shanahan made the same call he made for Trent Williams. That's right. Remember, when things got dicey with Trent Williams, he apparently called Kyle Shanahan and was like, hey, Kyle, I'm about to go sign with the Chiefs. So can we get this done? Can you get me an offer that I actually want? And Kyle apparently did. And we all know how that story ended. I don't know if the same thing happened in this case. So we'll find out those sort of details as we go along. But however it happened, it's good that it happened. Logan Yard says, I'm just happy he will be a Niner for the foreseeable future. I saw this comment. Ace Bra said, the deal is good. Every 2 years, someone else gets paid. Micah is next. That's the other thing. It's going to be eclipsed soon because that's just the nature of how it works in the NFL. So this contract is going to look better a couple of years from now than it looks right now, at least if it's structured sort of in the traditional way. I would love to know what ultimately got the deal done. What changed in the last, I don't know, 3 hours? Literally, I saw something from Diana Rossini that said that the Niners and Bosa aren't close. So I'm not saying Diana Rossini was wrong. Sometimes these things can move quickly. You know, if maybe Bosa went to his agent and was like, I don't want to miss any games, get their best offer, and let's get done with this. I have no idea. I don't know. Or maybe someone did make the call to Kyle Shanahan and he said to the Niners, like, enough, stop screwing around. We need this guy week 1. I don't know. I'd be fascinated to learn what changed. Paul Doser, YouTube channel member. Shout out to you. By the way, if you want to become a YouTube channel member, please do. It's less than $3 a month. You get priority comment response, custom emojis, you get membership badges. Please, it's a great way to support the show and support me, and I really, really do appreciate it. Paul says, extending Bosa is such a no-brainer. I just wish the 49ers didn't make the easy stuff seem hard. Yeah, it does. It is frustrating in that way. But I will say it is better than the alternative, not getting it done, right? Like if I have to choose between those two things, I'll take getting it done. Very much so. I will take getting it done. Carlo says Kittle and Juice gone next year. That's very, very possible. I think Juice is definitely gone. I wouldn't put it past Kittle, depending on the year he has. If he doesn't have a great year, he's got no guaranteed money left in his deal. But those are things that may have happened even if Bosa's contract costed less. Like teams change, rosters change. Your objective shouldn't be to keep everybody together for all time. You have to play the game. You have to shuffle guys in and out, right? Look at the Super Bowl team in 2019. They didn't have Brandon Ayuk in 2019. They had Emmanuel Sanders. They didn't have Trent Williams in 2019 at left tackle. They had Joe Staley. They didn't have Christian McCaffrey at running back. They had Raheem Mostert, right? Guys shuffle in and out. It's about the production you get, not the name on the back of the jersey. It's about the production that they put up. If you can replace the production, you replace the player for a cheaper player, if you can. But I don't think Bosa was one of those guys that you could replace the production. That's why I was so adamant that he needed to get signed and it should have been done already. Because the production that he provides, it's rare around the league. It's not something that you can just pluck. The only reason that Nick Bosa was on the team to begin with is because Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL and the Niners got the second pick in the draft. That normally would not have happened for them without Garoppolo getting hurt. Look at Nick Bosa's career as I throw his numbers up on the screen. 9 sacks his rookie year. Obviously, he got hurt in 2020. 15 and a half sacks in 2021. 18 and a half sacks last year, led the league. You can't just find that anywhere. Yeah, you could take a risk and get lucky on a pass rusher later. Sure. But that's generally not how it happens. And the Niners generally aren't picking at the top of the draft to a spot where they can get them. I mean, they got Nick Bosa. They didn't have to give up any, you don't have to trade for the number 2 pick in the draft. They didn't have to make any deals, give up anything. They had a bad year. They got the number 2 pick, and here he is. And once you get that guy, you don't let him leave. You don't let him get out of the building under any circumstances. Let's get to this super chat. Nick Ellert says, Kyle said Bosa will play as many snaps as there are in the game. And Kyle was not involved in the contract talks. Interesting. Thank you, Nick. I don't know if I believe that, but whether he got involved or not, whether Kyle Shanahan wants to take credit or not, whatever, Bosa's ready to go. So we'll see how he performs on Sunday. Baba Ganoush. I've been checking my phone all summer for this news. Me too. Every time I got the little ding on my phone, I was like, is this the Bosa news? Is this the Bosa news? I had the thumbnail for the YouTube live stream ready to go. I had it made a few days ago. It's nice to have that stress out of my life. Diego, YouTube channel member. How many members do you need to equal Bosa's deal? A lot, Diego. So tell a friend, please. Please, please, please sign up. Brisbee Life. So I'm watching on my Twitch page at Stats on Fire. Short-term, Kittle and Juice might be casualties. Long-term, it's probably Trent retiring and expanded cap space. That's a thing too, right? Guys retire. We don't know how that's going to go. If the Niners win a Super Bowl, maybe Trent Williams walks away. we don't know. A lot can change in a year. Again, I just think that today, at least right now, in the minutes after Nick Bosa signs, literally 15 minutes removed from the news breaking, let's be happy. Enjoy the wins along the way. We don't know what's going to happen with this season. We have no idea. Take today and be happy. It's like I say Sunday after wins. Like you gotta, if you can't be happy on a day like today, most of your fandom is going to be miserable. You're not going to be happy. And I know everybody thinks I'm the negative guy, but I'm telling you, I'm not. I'm not a lot of the time. Tim Eddy says, who are the captains? Vish already texted me. I know that Brock Purdy is a captain. That is not surprising to me. That is absolutely what should happen. Okay. Your quarterback should be a captain because whether he gets the C on his jersey or not, he is a captain. That's how you embrace your quarterback, your young quarterback. That's how you send a message to the team. This guy is our leader. This guy is somebody we believe in. The Niners didn't do that with Trey Lance in 2022, and I said at the time it was a mistake. But I have said this year that they have done all the right things when it comes to supporting Brock Purdy and showing everybody that they believe in Brock Purdy. Carlos says there are 6 team captains. That is interesting. I'm trying to look really quick. How many did the 49ers have last year? I think they only had 5. And that was a big deal for me because they had more in previous years and they took it away from Trey Lance. Let me see. 6 captains. Okay. Sorry, I just want to double check this really quick. Niners named their captains. Okay, I need to see the actual amount that they had. But regardless, they're doing right by Brock Purdy. He should be a captain. We can get into more of the captains later. Murphy's Law says drinks are on Bosa tonight. I think drinks are on Bosa for many nights, come to think of it, as they should be. Let's be honest. Although the Niners got quite a few guys that can pay for drinks. I saw this. This is a funny tweet from David Lombardi, who's not somebody I usually get along with, but when he has a zinger, I like to put it up there. Lombardi said, looks like Reddit got that Nick Bosa trade report wrong. Yeah, that was a fun day and a half. I never really thought that he was going to get traded. I did think the reaction to it was kind of funny. You don't trade Nick Bosa now, especially because 1, whatever you get back is not going to be as good. But 2, those trades don't help you this season. You can get 2024 draft picks, but that doesn't help the 2023 49ers. So I never thought he was going to get traded. I don't know that many people seriously did, to be honest with you. I know that it was a thing for a night and people were talking about it, but I don't know how many people actually believed it. Okay, I'm seeing a tweet from the 49ers here. Let me throw this up on the screen. This is the team captain's tweet. And we got the official graphic that they always throw up there. The team captains, Trent Williams, Eric Armstead, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Brock Purdy, and Deebo Samuel. Wow. I'm a little surprised. I'm surprised no Christian McCaffrey, to be honest with you. I'm surprised Deebo Samuel made it up there as a captain. Deebo didn't make it last year. He was after Lance, as a matter of fact. So he wasn't even the first guy out. So that's interesting to me because I didn't think he would be up there this year. I really thought it was going to be Christian McCaffrey. And I knew Trent Williams would be there. I knew Warner would be there. I knew Armstead would be there. Purdy, I figured, would be there. Kittle, okay, that's fine. Deebo. This is the good Deebo year. We've seen every other year with Deebo. He's either in shape or he's not in shape. This is an in-shape Deebo year, and now he's a captain. Who knows if he's going to be on the team next year? Who knows if he's going to be a captain next year? But for this year, he's in. No Ayuk, too. That's interesting. I mean, you can only have so many captains, I guess. You can have more than what they've had. I mean, Ayuk is a guy that's done everything right? Done everything the 49ers have asked. We know he was in the doghouse, out of the doghouse, not a captain. Anyway, it's a good day for the 49ers. It is an absolutely good day, and I'm trying to be I don't want to be bang on the captain thing. Nick Bosa's here. Nick Bosa has signed. The Super Bowl hopes are alive and well. Because I had said I didn't think that they had a chance to win a Super Bowl if Bosa wasn't there, if he wasn't on the field, if he wasn't in peak Bosa form. And now there's a chance for all that. Maybe he's not, I don't know if he's going to be 100% for the Steelers game or whatever for that, but he'll get into form. And if he's in top form, this defensive line, think about the line, right? If you're the Steelers right now, you're in the Steelers, you're in your offensive line meetings. What do you like? What's your discussion? We have to double team Bosa, right? Because you have to. Okay, well, now you've got Javon Hargrave in the middle. You've got Armstead in the middle. And now you've got Drake Jackson on the other side. Great. You're not going to double Drake Jackson. I get that. But if you double Bosa and you double Hargrave, then Armstead is one-on-one. Like, you're going to, it's a real problem every single snap. And that's the 49ers base defense. That's the problem that they force you to have to deal with every single snap. That's amazing. I don't know that any other team in the league, except for maybe the Eagles, present that kind of challenge. And now that's locked in because Bosa is around. Chris Waddell, all I know is Purdy better be awesome next year because there will be no money to chase a veteran. Your Juice and Kittle thoughts are 100% true. Gone. There's going to be money. There's going to be money. The cap is going to go up. Are they going to be able to bring in a Javon Hargrave? Probably not. But did anyone think they were going to be able to bring him in this year too? No. I mean, you restructure things. You do what you have to when the circumstances permit it, when stuff comes up, right? So let's not worry about next year, this year. We're all in, right? This is the Super Bowl window. When you do that, you don't have to worry about next year. You worry about next year when you're a team like the Cardinals and you're got a new head coach and you don't know what's going to happen with your quarterback and maybe you'll have a top pick in the draft. That's what the Cardinals fans are talking about, okay? Or the Panthers or the Texans. They're the teams talking about next year already. Forget that. This year, baby. We're talking about this year because we have a legit Super Bowl chance, and we do because Nick Bosa is back. Chris says Steelers defensive line is similar. Dogs in their line. Yeah, they have some good players in the line too. There are teams that have good players in the line, but the Niners are up there with anybody. That's the point. And they may be number one. Tab D says, Rob, it was the guaranteed money that was the problem. I know that generally the guaranteed money is usually the sticking point. How much is guaranteed? When is it doled out? All those things. Fire the Great says Bosa got paid. Jedi says it's going to be a long day for Kenny Pickett. Yeah, no one's feeling worse than Kenny Pickett right now. He was probably gearing up like, hey, there's a chance we might not have to face Nick Bosa and the 49ers. Like, I may get some time in the pocket here to throw and look around and scan the field. And now it's like, bloop, bloop. When he gets that update on his phone, it's bloop, fuck. That's Kenny Pickett's day, right? In a nutshell. And I apologize for cursing, but couldn't really express the thought there without it. So had to throw one in there. Thank you all for the comments. You guys are flying through the comments. Is Kyle speaking now? Let me know what else is there. If you see or hear anything else from Kyle Shanahan, I'm trying to scan through Twitter quickly here. Let's see if I can look at the lists, see what the 49ers beat writers are saying. When news of the Nick Bosa signing hit, Fred Warner ran into the 49ers locker room yelling. Word spread fast around here. See, that's cool. Because that's a day where the players are reacting like we're reacting, right? That's what I did. Literally, I got the thing on my phone. I just picked up my son from school, and I said, Thomas, Nick Bosa just signed. And he ran around the house, and I ran around the house, and then I ran down to my basement to do the show. Nice to see the 49ers reacting exactly the same way that we're reacting. That's why we like rivalry games, right? Because we feel like the players care as much as we care. And it's cool to see in this instance that, the players are just like us in a lot of ways. Chris says Pickett and George Pickens were later sleeper picks for me in fantasy, thanks to Michelle Majuk. Won't be starting them this week. Ha ha. Yeah, I hate starting guys in my fantasy team that are playing against the 49ers. I don't like that. I don't like at least my fantasy team. Like, that doesn't help. When my team loses, I'm miserable. I don't care about my fantasy team that week. Let's keep going on Twitter. Let's see what else is around. Trent Williams said, I'm happy to have my friend back. I'm happy for him. Kyle Shanahan says, Bosa's trying to get to San Francisco as early as possible. I like to see as I'm scrolling through the 49ers list that I have here on Twitter. Just good news over and over and over again. David Lombardi, most total guarantees in NFL history for defensive linemen. Nick Bosa, 1, 122.5. Joey Bosa, 2, 102 million. Khalil Mack, 3, 90 million. Now, again, Is that guaranteed for injury? Is that guaranteed at signing? We don't know. Again, I don't care. It's not my money. Guarantee it to him, whatever. All I want is to see him on the field. And again, the salary cap is the salary cap. We can do that later. We can worry about that later. Right now, let's just be happy that Nick Bosa is in the fold. Obi-Wan 49. I think it's too much money. I hope it doesn't bite us. I said it at the top. I'll say it again. Good players cost money. You know, we're paying our quarterback less than $1 million right now. Brock Purdy's salary doesn't even count against the salary cap because only the top 52 salaries count against the cap. So what other team in the league has a starting quarterback whose salary is so small, it doesn't count against the salary cap? Let's not worry about that. If you think it's too much money, I understand that. But you know what? This is what you can do. You can overpay a little bit to get your guy in the door, to keep the train on the tracks, right? And not disrupt the flow. So is it too much money? That's up for everybody to decide. I think not. But if you do, okay. But sometimes you got to do those things, right? In a Super Bowl window, when you're talking about pushing all your chips in the middle of the table and being all in, this is all part of it. And if you have to let some guys go next year, but you've got a Lombardi trophy in the trophy case, you've got number 6 there, are you really going to be upset? Like, don't you think it's worth it? Bay Marin says, Nick to Joey, who's the bigger bro now, huh? Yeah, is he still NB Small Bear, or does that get bumped up now? I don't know. Andrew Leal says, we win on Sunday. Let's go. JMW85. This is going to drive the market up on every edge rusher now. Feel bad for the team who has to pay out lesser players now. Yeah, boo-hoo, right? Don't worry. That ain't us. We just made Micah Parsons' contract much more expensive, right? We just made everybody else's contract more expensive. The Niners don't have any other edge rushers to pay, so they're not going to feel that for quite some time. If you think Drake Jackson will get there, okay, but usually guys that are that good flash with that kind of talent and potential before now. Carlo gets it. He says, with a quarterback making peanuts, you can play others a lot now. ADF says Chris Jones can make his move now. Chris Jones, you know what? You could stay out a little bit. I'd be okay if the Chiefs had some problems. Like, they've had a lot of good stuff, all right? It's okay if the Chiefs have some problems. Chris is back. He says, do you know any knowledgeable cap guys? Levin, maybe. Don't mention Levin and knowledgeable in the same sentence, first of all. I'd be interested in who all available for reworks and where we stand for the future, et cetera, et cetera. There's always guys you can rework. There's always guys you can kick the can down the road. But again, just enjoy this today. Worry about that stuff later. Today is not the day to do it, man. Just be happy. Be happy. A Super Bowl in 2024 doesn't mean any more or get us any more credit than a Super Bowl in 2023, right? So, again, just manage. I'm surprised that there's so many people are focused on next year. Nick Ellert says the Cowboys already have a crazy cap. Parsons is going to cost them. I agree. Fire the Great. Always appreciate your support, YouTube channel member. My face lit up when I seen the message. $34 million per year means this year has to be the year for that Super Bowl. The question is now, do you play Bosa week 1? Again, I haven't seen this, but I saw people in the chat saying that Kyle Shanahan said at his press conference that Bosa's going to play, and he's going to play every snap. Tim Kawakami says Shanahan was beaming through the press conference, literally found out about Bosa minutes ago. Kind of nice to see Kyle Shanahan smile, right? He's been a little sour at times, let's just say. Also got this from David Lombardi. The good news continues for the Niners. Jake Moody is expected to be ready for Sunday's season opener at Pittsburgh. So the good news is overflowing today. Bosa's here. Jake Moody's in. The holdout's over. Let's go. Let's go. This is an interesting tweet from Wedge Antilles. Love you, Wedge. Do we think Jed York stepped in at the end? I don't know. That's a good question. You know, Jed typically hasn't been that type of owner. I just feel like Jed kind of lets Shanahan and Lynch and everybody do their thing. Now, it's possible because of the Trey Lance situation, you know, burning all those picks and paying him all that money for 8 games, that maybe Jed would step in. But I feel like if Jed were going to step in because of the Lance thing, he would have said, don't pay him the money, right? Because you paid all that money to Lance and I didn't get any return on my investment. So I wouldn't say that Jed stepped in, although I have no idea. I would think that we would have heard about that by now because I feel like that would be something that Jed would have wanted out there if it were true. But again, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not going to speculate on that, even though I sort of just did. Bay Marin, our Moody news, good news. We just got the Moody news, so and it is good news. Now he just has to actually make his kicks. By the way, that's the second half of that, right? Great, you're going to play. That's cool. But you kind of missed some kicks in the preseason, and we would like to see you make them in Pittsburgh. That'll go a long, long way. Chris Waddell is back. What new topic can Cone complain about now? Hey, I was complaining too, man. Don't just make it about Grant. I feel like because the 49ers press score is not negative really any of the time, that because Grant he gets unfairly labeled as a guy that complains. And I know he says some crazy stuff sometimes, but again, I think a healthy bit of skepticism is okay. Bobby Bruno. This guy is another moron like Grant Cohn making up nonsense for clicks. If you're talking about me, I would like to know specifically, Bobby, what nonsense you think I was making up. I get a little sensitive when people say that. If you are talking about me, I don't make stuff up for clicks, okay? If I wanted clicks, if I wanted engagement and popularity, I would do the opposite. I would be sunshine and champagne and strawberries all the time. Because that's how you get engagement and likes and clout, is to just be positive all the time. That is not me. The only thing I promise you on any show that I do, every show that I do, I can't promise you I'm always going to be right. Nobody is always right. Nobody bats 1,000 in this business. The only thing I ever promise you is that I will be 100% honest and I will be 100% authentic. Good, bad, ugly, right, wrong, whatever. You will always get nothing but 100% authenticity from me. If I don't believe it, I will not say it. And if I say it, you can take it to the bank, bet I believe it. You may disagree, and that's fine. I like when people disagree. But I swear to you, I will never just make stuff up for clicks or engagement. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. That is not why I do this. I promise you that. And I know I can frustrate people and all that stuff. But I promise you, I will never be anything less than 100% authentic on the show. Oh, so here we go. I'm seeing the tweets. Robert Marquez, say goodbye to Ayuk. There's no money left. We don't know that, first of all, for sure. We don't know that Ayuk is definitely gone. Second of all, if he is, you bring in another wide receiver. There's other wide receivers that can produce like Brandon Ayuk has produced for the 49ers. And don't tell me there's not, because we all know there is. Between Kyle Shanahan manufacturing the offense and the numbers that Ayuk actually put up while he was here, not the hypothetical numbers that you think he could put up with a different quarterback or on a different team. I'm talking about the actual hardcore numbers, yards, catches, touchdowns that Brandon Ayuk has put up. You can replace that. Is it a risk? Yes, it's a risk, but you can do it. And you take that risk if that's the difference between keeping Nick Bosa or not keeping Nick Bosa. I'm sorry. You do. You just do. Andre says, Ayuk will stay. Kittle and Juice are gone. Daddy-O says Rob is one of the real ones. Thank you very much, Daddy-O. I appreciate it. Sign Me 29 says, now you're giving this moron exactly what he's complaining about. Sign me too. Bet you're on my side, man. Sorry, I apologize. Daniel says, sheesh, 122 million guaranteed. Yikes, losing people next year. Again, we don't know if that's fully guaranteed at signing. We don't know if that's guaranteed for injury only. That's the number that gets pushed out a lot of the times when these deals break to make the agents look good, right? Because everybody sees the number and they say, wow, great job by the agent. And other players see that number and they're like, damn, I got to get that guy to be my agent, So we don't know exactly how it's structured. I think the devil is going to be in the details with this contract. That's part of the reason it took so long. And we need to see those details. Usually Mike Florio has the best contract breakdowns. He does a good job. I assume he gets it right from the agent and he gets into like the nitty gritty and everything. Apparently Nick Bosa put up on his Instagram the picture of him and it just says, shall we? That's it. No other words. Just ready to go. Just, shall we? Yes, Nick Bosa. We shall. Chris is back. I think a lot of us worry about the future because we remember the 100 years in a row we sucked. We want long-time relevancy. Super Bowl would be awesome. But here's the thing, Chris. You're in the middle of long-time relevancy. You've made 3 out of the last 4 NFC championship games. You're going on potentially a half a decade of not just relevancy, playing for the Super Bowl every year. You know, I don't know if there are any Office fans in here, but at the end of The Office, Andy Bernard says, I wish there was a way to know when you're in the good old days that you're in the good old days. You're in the good old days right now. This is it. We're living it, man. Enjoy the good old days while they're here. And then you can look back on them and smile. Like, do both, right? So, again, I'm just trying to be happy and live in the moment. Sign Me Too says, I'm with you, Rob. Was trying to say that guy was just trying to get attention and engagement with his wild comment. Yeah, maybe. But I just, you know, I hear that criticism a lot, that I'm just engaging for clicks, clickbait, even though half the time it's on a tweet and there's nothing to click on. And yeah, it does bother me. It does bug me because I don't do that. I've been in the sports media business for 15 years. I know how it works. And I know if I wanted to do that, I know exactly the way to do it, to have a much bigger following and make more money and all that stuff. And I don't want to do that because you can tell when somebody's doing that. I don't want to pee on your leg and tell you it's raining. My name is Mike89 says, informed opinions don't generate clicks. Sometimes they do, but not as much as uninformed ones. I'll say that. I mean, all you got to do is look around the internet and you'll see there's lots of uninformed takes that get a lot of clicks. I'm just saying that. Andre says Super Bowls are won nowadays by elite quarterbacks. We need one. I do agree you need an elite quarterback, or you need at least a guy to play like an elite quarterback for a short period of time, a la Joe Flacco against the 49ers when he threw 11 touchdowns and no interceptions in that playoffs. But you also need the defense. You can't just have the elite quarterback, right? The Buffalo Bills have an elite quarterback in Josh Allen. They haven't been as close to a Super Bowl as the 49ers have, as frequently as the 49ers have. You got to have both. You got to have an elite quarterback. You got to have a really good defense, and you got to have a pass rusher on defense that can be a difference maker when it matters. Buffalo lost Von Miller, so they lost that part of their defense. The Niners just got it with Bosa. Chris is back. How people even make money on Twitter. Greek to me. I don't know. People apparently do make money on Twitter. I'd like to get some of that money. Not going to lie. I could use a new revenue stream. Sign Me 29 says, after seeing how they treated Debo, Trent, Trey, and Bosa, why would he want to deal with that? I don't know who you're specifically talking about, but yeah, there's ammo on both sides of that argument, right? You could say, look, you did some guys dirty, and we didn't like how you treated Trey Lance, and we didn't like how these guys always have to struggle to get their money. Maybe Ayuk says, I don't want to be a part of that. Or maybe he says, you know what? They've paid everybody, so I think in the end, they'll pay me. It could go both ways. And we don't know if Ayuk wants to stick around. He may say, I just want to see what else is out there. I just want to play in a different system and a different quarterback and try to maximize my ability. We don't know what that's going to come down to. I'm seeing Adam Schefter says Sean McVay would not rule out placing Cooper Kupp on injured reserve. Niners play the Rams in week 2. I know that's a game he usually should win, but be easier to win it if Cooper Kupp is not there. Obi-Wan49 says, Rob, how did you become a 49er fan living in Connecticut? Okay, quick story. When I was becoming a football fan at 5 years old, my dad said, who are you going to root for? And I said, well, who can I root for? And he said, Jets, Giants, or Patriots, because we lived in Connecticut. And I said, well, aren't there more teams than that? And he said, yeah, there's 30 teams. And I said, well, why can't I pick one of the other teams? And he said, well, I guess you could, but we live here. And I said, well, I don't care. I'm not picking between these 3 teams. And who happened to be good in 1990? The San Francisco 49ers, hence 49er fan. And it didn't hurt that they were on the complete opposite side of the country as me. So that's it. That's how I became a 49er fan. They were super far away, so it was kind of like a FU to people that said I had to choose between the local teams. And they were really good. And that's it. I've been a Niner fan ever since. I've been a fan of this team for 33 years. And I will be a fan of this team until I drop dead. Even if I complain. Even if I disagree with what they do. Everybody knows you pick your team, and that's your team. Good, bad, or ugly. You don't leave. Sign Me 29. And where did your Mariner fandom come from? Kind of the same thing, although it was a little different. My dad had Red Sox tickets, and so we got to go to Fenway Park a lot. He got them through his job, and they always played the Mariners whenever we went, which was odd. So we would go like a couple times a year, and it was always during the Mariners series, probably because nobody wanted those tickets. And the Mariners had Griffey and A-Rod and all that stuff back then. So That's how I'm like a dual citizen, San Francisco, Seattle in my fandom. Chris Waddell says, live show suggestion, YouTube members conversation, Q&A. Probably no space for more shows for you, though. Look, I'm always taking ideas, 1,000%. So I appreciate it, man. Keep it coming. Kyle says, true fans complain when it's warranted. Yes, I totally agree. But also, true fans should enjoy days like today. Compliment the team. They got it done. Yes, it should have been done faster. I totally agree with you. It should never have gotten to this point, but at least it's done. And as long as Bosa can be 100%, quickly, then we're going to forget about all this. Both of those things can be true. I know sometimes people struggle with that. Fire the Great says, damn, I'm a Mariners fan too. Became a fan because of Griffey. Yeah, Fire the Great. I didn't know that there were many Mariners fans on here. Are you a fan of any local sports team? I was a Hartford Whalers fan when they were here, but then they moved away. But that would definitely qualify. Brisbee Life says, Rob's going back to the Tecmo Super Bowl era. Yes, I'm old. I'm sorry, okay? I can't change my age. I do go back to that era. J. Cruz 49er. Why don't you call out that lady that likes the 49ers and the Steelers? Can't have two teams. BS. So you're talking about Michelle Majuk, who's the co-host on Fridays with me. She was a Steelers fan, and I brought her into the fold because I wanted her on the show because, number one, she's awesome. She works for NFL Network and writes for NFL.com, and she's outside the 49er bubble. But because she's had to be as invested in the 49ers as the rest of us now, because she does the show, we're converting her into a 49ers fan. Slowly but surely, it is absolutely happening. Let's see. Wedge in Tilly's. Rob, does your San Francisco win-loss change now with Bosa signed? No, I assumed when I said they were going to go 12-5 last Friday that he was going to be in the fold. So it doesn't change my season prediction. I definitely feel better about my win that I predicted in week 1 because I was assuming Bosa was going to be there. If he wasn't there, it was going to be a little dicier. So I still feel good about that one. But it does not change my 12-5 prediction. Rock Eastwood says, this guy seems pretty level-headed to me. I'm a new stats fan. Thank you, Rock. Appreciate it. Some love for Michelle in the channel. Let me take another look at Twitter and see if I can see anything. Wow, Shanahan is smiling a lot in some of the videos that I'm seeing. Let's see. Ray McLeod has been cleared and is limited to practice this week. That's surprising. And as Jeff Deeney points out, let me throw this on the stream for you also. Jeff Deeney of PFF. This would be huge if Ray McLeod could go on Sunday. Ronnie Bell had just 13 punt returns and 2 kickoff returns at Michigan. Special teams were already iffy with a kicker who's a rookie and not 100%, or a guy they just signed off the street. They just catch the ball on special teams. That's all I want on returns. Just catch it. I don't care if you fall down immediately. Just don't fumble the damn thing. That's all I want. So whether it's Ray or Ronnie Bell, that's all we need. The offense will be good enough to get the team down the field. We don't need help with the special teams. I mean, with the yardage on the returns. Just catch it. I know that's how Kyle thinks. Nick Hufford says, Rob, I joined a little late. What are your thoughts on this year's team captains? Again, the team captains thing for me is not. It was a big deal last year because Trey Lance wasn't on it. And I thought that was a mistake. And I thought it showed the lack of faith in him. And I thought they undercut his authority with the team. This year, Brock Purdy is a captain. So to me, it was the kind of thing where you could screw it up, but doing it right doesn't necessarily get you anything. So again, if you're just joining us, Trent Williams, Eric Armstead, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Brock Purdy, Deebo Samuel, the 6 captains for the 49ers. That's fine. It was only because the quarterback wasn't on it was I up at arms. But they have done everything right by Brock Purdy. I want to give him credit for that, and I have given him credit for that. They have cleared the deck for him. They got rid of Trey Lance. So if Brock struggles, no one's going to be saying bring in Sam Darnold. It's Brock's team. Come hell or high water. I think you have to do that when you have a young quarterback. Have to. Let him sink or swim. They've done that with him. They've said he was the starting quarterback. Basically, the only question they said it came down to was health. Once he was back and healthy, they never wavered from that. So that was excellent. They've got good people around him, obviously, and done all of that. They're supporting him. They're embracing him in a way that they never embraced Trey Lance. So as many mistakes as they made with Trey, they are not making those same mistakes with Brock Purdy. And that's good. That's how it should be. 911 Express says, sounds like my story, kind of. I became a Niners fan in '83 when the Colts left Baltimore and we had no team. I saw them playing and stuck with them for 30 years. I almost think like the why you pick your team is sort of important, but a lot of times you're picking a team when you're so young that you don't really even understand all the whys. The important thing for me is that you stick with the team, even when they stink. Stick with them. Don't give up. Go through the hard times. That's really, to me, the measure of a true fan, as much as people like to use that term. True fan. Chris says, your hair is giving me Johnny Bravo vibes today. Yeah, I don't have anything in my hair today. So this is how it looks when I don't do anything. D Wish says, they really hated Trey. This proves it. Couldn't have 6 captains last year, but all of a sudden it's okay to have 6 again. I think we all know how they felt about Trey. I think their actions have told us last year, this year, exactly how they felt about Trey Lance. Daniel says, there's another Niners M's fan. Rad. I didn't think there was anyone else like me, so thank you. Marshmello, excuse me. $50 million signing bonus. I'm trying to see if there are actual more details on the contract. If anybody does see, because I know those start to trickle out as we go along here. Definitely let me know, because I'm really interested to see how this breaks down, because I do agree with people saying that there will be repercussions, but we won't know what those are or could be until we see the actual details. I'm just checking Pro Football Talk. I don't see anything. They have the report of the extension, but they don't have the details yet. Yeah, that's okay. It will eventually. They'll come out and we'll be able to find it. But this is another reason to just celebrate right now, right? Because maybe we won't love some of those details, but screw it, man. It's all good now. Here we go. Tom Pelissero says Bosa's mega deal with the Niners includes a $50 million signing bonus per source, another record for a defensive player. Good for him. If he's not worth it, who is? Right? That's what I would say. I know some people were saying, well, he's not Aaron Donald. If Nick Bosa is not worth a $50 million signing bonus, who is? 18.5 sacks last year, defensive player of the year, led the league in sacks. It's got to be him. And you might say that, well, he shouldn't get more than Donald because he's not as good a player as Donald, but Jimmy Garoppolo was the highest paid player in NFL history at one point. It's not just a merit-based business. It's about who's up and what leverage you have. That's really what determines how much money you get. Artemis, 49.94. Should the 49ers inquire about Chandler Jones? That was a weird situation. I saw some posts from him on social media complaining that he couldn't get into the Raiders headquarters and that he had to go to like a public gym to work out. I don't know if he was hacked or what. If he's unhappy and there's a possibility Chandler Jones could get traded, then the Niners absolutely should inquire. You put Chandler Jones with Nick Bosa and Javon Hargrave and Eric Armstead, now you're getting like 2019 vibes with D Ford, right? Now you really have something. I would look into it. Doesn't cost you anything to make a phone call, right? Chris says, just saw some Burrow contract parameters. Wow. Yeah, these guys are going to get paid, man. Levin has a good point about the signing bonus. Says Bosa's mega deal signing bonus doesn't matter. His salary will be restructured into a signing bonus every year anyways. It was also necessary to limit the cap hit this year. The $50 million will be spread out equally across the 5 years. Like I said, I am less worried about the actual structure and then the cap and how the 49ers have to navigate it. That's for the cap people to worry about. That's their job. Us as fans, let's just worry about who's on the field on Sundays. Let's go. Nick Bosa, back in the fold. And I will say this. Let's give a little credit to Jed York. I don't love to praise owners because I feel like generally they don't do much. They have a lot of money and they spend a lot of money. But the Niners have spent. They reset the market for Kittle at tight ends. They reset the market for Trent Williams at left tackle. They reset the market for Fred Warner at linebacker. They met the market for Deebo Samuel because remember, it was Deebo and A.J. Brown and somebody else that I can't remember off the top of my head. But they all got new contracts because they were all represented by the same agent. And they all basically got the same deal. So he didn't reset the market, but he literally met the market that was just set in that same offseason. So Jed pays. He pays for people, man. Not every owner does. And there's a lot, you can criticize Jed York in the past with the Harbaugh thing and some of the stuff that happened. He has paid people. There has been no one that the 49ers actually wanted to keep that they didn't keep. I don't think they wanted to keep Buckner. I think if they really did want to keep Buckner, they would have. But once they got that trade offer, they said, yeah, we can live without him. So, and Wedge points out they reset the market for Juice. That's true. They reset the market for years to come with Juice. Oak Jack says Geno Smith just sharded a little. I think everybody did. All the quarterbacks the 49ers are facing, they were secretly hoping. There's a group text somewhere where somebody put in the Schefter tweet and was just like, crap. Tim Eddy says, do you think the other owners are hating the Jet is resetting the market at all these positions these days? I don't know. Maybe some. I know in baseball they all do when guys do that. It's possible they do in football. Look, the owners talk. The owners were mad about that Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed contract that he got. A lot of owners, almost all of them, really didn't like that. And they're loving the fact that Deshaun struggled because of that. They want Browns ownership punished. Now, Jed York is not wildly giving unprecedented contracts that are so far beyond anything we've ever seen before that I don't think he's getting the same kind of hate from ownership. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's not some that say, like, damn it, that guy's making me look bad. These guys don't like to spend money. They want to spend generally the least amount they can spend, a lot of them. So maybe there are some, but I don't know. All right, I think I'm going to wrap this thing up. Thank you so much for joining me. We've gone basically an hour here. Incredible news. Nick Bosa back in the fold. The ship is righting itself before week 1, and that is freaking awesome. And I want to thank everybody for all your questions and your comments and your support. It's been fantastic. We really appreciate it here. I know that some of you have talked to me about the number of ads and stuff in the shows, and I apologize for that. It's more than it was when I was with SB Nation because I'm independent now, and this is how I'm keeping my lights on and feeding my family. So I've had to put some ads in there. If you could support us and support the show and support our sponsors, I would be incredibly, incredibly grateful. You are the reason that I do this. I could not do this without you. I would have to get a real job, and that is terrifying to me. So thank you for all the support. We have a new sponsor, MyBookie. If you go to mybookie.com and use our promo code GOLD23, you can win some money. There's a link in the description of the episode. That's a great way to support the show if you want to do it. Or like I said, become a YouTube channel member for less than $3 a month, and you can support the show that way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be happy, everybody. Nick Bosa is here. Niners to the Super Bowl, baby. Let's manifest our reality. We'll talk tomorrow.